What is up, everybody? This is Matt, the host of the Jammies, and we're having a little bit different episode, going through a little bit of something in my personal life, but still wanted to make sure that we had some great new music to share from artists like Moravian, Plastic Scene, and a whole lot more. We got a bunch of albums to talk about, but just brief mentions for the most part here. So thanks for sticking with us and sticking with the Jammies. Let's get into, I don't even know what to call this one, the tornado episode of the Jammies, episode 21. Let's rock and roll into a sweet, nasty solo from the artist that always introduced our show, Superfect. Kick it! What is up, everybody? This is Matt, the host of the Jammies, and today we are gonna have a little bit of a different type of episode. I have been going through some crazy stuff in my personal life, and something that I didn't even know was coming up even when I recorded episode 20.5. I live out in a small city in Wisconsin, and as of Monday, July 27th, we actually got hit by a tornado. So very much crazy times that we are living in right now, and just a lot going on. So as one can imagine, we have quite a bit of damage to the house and on the outside of the house, but the neighborhood itself is really suffering. So we are just going to have a short episode today. I'm sure most people will understand with that. Just kind of wanted to let you guys know some of the music that I've been listening to, as well as just a quick check-in, but it's definitely not the usual full episodes for episode 21. To appreciate anybody listening into the Jammies and checking us out, it's going to be just a couple bullet points here, just some of the music that I've been listening to. I am planning on putting together a Jammies playlist for this one, so there'll still be a Jammies playlist. This is a Spotify specific playlist that you're going to be able to listen to each and every song that I've been kind of listening to in the past month, in the month of July 2026. Basically everything before this came around. I haven't really been in the mood for music over the past couple of days. It just hasn't really fit what's been going on in the city here. So we're going to just mention a couple of things and get myself out of here. I'm actually recording on July 30th, so this episode's supposed to come out tomorrow. I didn't want to end the streak of monthly episodes here, so I figured I'd still at least just put a little something together for you guys. And again, get you some new music and hope that everybody's out there doing good, everybody's safe, healthy, and all that. The couple of artists that I was going to mention, we have the band Moravian. These are a couple of guys out there making some really solid, like kind of chaotic rock music that really works for me. They're sitting at about 52,000 monthly listeners right now. They have 2 solid EPs out, so anything on the 2 EPs I'm really enjoying. Their latest 3 singles I have been a little bit missed by, but I do really like what's on their 2024 EP called Moravian Drive, as well as their October 2024 EP called Call It What You Want. So that's like about 10 songs that I have really enjoyed by Moravian, and some of my favorite songs by them, and some that'll be on the Jammies playlist, is Domino, Medusa, and The Rain. The Rain is really a song that stuck with me. It's been on my liked songs on Spotify for quite a while, and it's the reason that I wanted to deep dive into their music. So definitely recommend those ones. Domino somehow is not in their top 10 songs on Spotify, but it's probably my favorite one, and I feel like it's the one that has the best energy to it there. So that's Moravian, and we're going to move into the artist called Plastic Scene. Plastic Scene has only 478 monthly listeners the last I checked, and it's like a band that's been releasing music since 2016, but only released 7 songs so far over the past 10 years. So we're talking about less than a song per year. And I just feel like there's a lot of big potential with this band. Like when the band clicks, it's groovy, it's dynamic, and it's just awesome. They have an incredible bassist that powers so many of their songs, and their bassist and their drummer are just really groovy again, accompanied by maybe some ambient singer style with some equally unique bit of guitar, and just a lot of stellar mixing from, actually they have a keyboard and trumpet player that you'll hear throughout a couple of their songs. So they sort of remind me of an artist that we talked about earlier this year that only has 4 songs out. That was that artist Wendy Lane that I really enjoyed. sort of has the same atmospheric, almost psychedelic at times. 7 songs out by Plastic Scene. I feel like there's definitely a lot of potential there, but we shall see where they go from here. One of the main reasons that I did bring them up is because their latest single is called Whitest Water, and it is, I think, by far their best song and their most complete song, and I feel like it's one of the highest recommendations that I had to give you guys this week, as well as just, honestly, a song that might be like a Jammies Song of the Year contender in the song Whitest Water by Plastic Scene. So if they're heading in that direction, the song came out in 2025. I feel like if they're heading in that direction, we could be in for a fantastic band. I mean, the band just, it doesn't force anything. They find that groove and they just flow through it and they just all rock together. So some really cool stuff coming out from Plastic Scene. Some other songs besides the one Whitest Water that I do like and that you can kind of really feel what the band could turn into. Some of the other ones that I like are the songs Didn't Know, Envisions, and Yogurt. And that is what I have to say on Plastic Scene for now. An up-and-coming band that I will probably be talking more about in episode 22 are called the Rose Hips, and they seem to have quite a bit of buzz. I mean, they're already streaming over 5 million times on Spotify with their 3 songs alone. Their song Spacey I'd heard a little while ago. That one itself actually has over 5 million listens. So again, with only 3 songs out, some of these bands really pop off pretty quick here. But one of the songs that recently released is called Harder to Stand. It's their most recent single, and I've definitely been enjoying that one. So an artist to keep an eye on with the Rose Hips, and probably one that we'll be talking about in the future. So that's just a quick run through of a few bands, and again, I'll be including some songs from each and every one of them on the Jammies playlist, available on Spotify. Just go right down to the link in the description, and that'll bring you right to the Spotify playlist to shuffle up. Nothing changing there. Next up, we're just going to run through some albums and EPs that have come out since we last talked, and really towards the end of June to, again, we're coming up on July 31st here when this episode drops. One of the albums that we mentioned in episode 20 was Right By You by Everyone by Neighbour Andy. This one released June 26th, so we had just a little bit of time with it when we released on July 3rd of last month on last episode. And really a solid album. I've still been listening to it as much as I can there. I'm liking the first 3 songs a lot, one of which is that Niagara Street song that we talked about a few months back. The best songs on the album for me so far have been the song Worst of Me, Niagara Street, Man of McGill, and Right By You by Everyone. And again, that Right By You by Everyone song is definitely up there for me in terms of one of the best songs I've heard all year. So that is the latest album, Right By You by Everyone by Neighbour Andy. We have talked so much about SIENNA SPIRO. She is the next artist that we have to mention with her latest album, Visitor, and actually we're going to be going over the deluxe album that released on July 3rd. This is her debut album from SIENNA SPIRO. On the deluxe one, there's 15 songs, 49 minutes. I feel like it's really solid overall. I've been enjoying it when I have the time to listen to it here. And while I do feel like the singles that came out before the album actually released are some of the best ones on here, I do feel like it's a pretty good listen overall. So some of the singles that we had mentioned in previous episodes: Die on This Hill, The Visitor, You Stole the Show, Maybe, and Material Lover. All 5 of those ones are some of my favorites from SIENNA SPIRO and some of the best ones on the album. No surprise there, but I do feel like there's some good stuff across the 8 additional songs that have been released on this album. I feel like it flows really well together as an album, but as far as the single songs, the ones that I do want to mention here, I like the song Pure, and I like the song Great Expectations. Out of those 8, those are probably the ones that I like the most. But overall, just a solid debut album from SIENNA SPIRO, and happy to have found the artist as early in the career as we have here, and looking forward to continuing the upward trajectory of SIENNA SPIRO and continuing to recommend some of the amazing singing and songwriting of SIENNA SPIRO. One that kind of snuck up on me and really was saving my month for a lot of music listening was the artist Congress the Band and their newest album, and really their debut album, called Wasted While I'm Young. This one released on July 10th. It is 9 songs, 36 minutes, and Yeah, Congress the band. It sort of saved my month. It was kind of slow in terms of music discovery. It was any sort of bands I was queuing up just weren't necessarily clicking with me early in July. So it was cool to see a returning artist come out with a whole lot more music. Like I mentioned, I did not realize that they had an album coming out, but we did mention Congress the band all the way back in episode 5 of the Jammies. And back then, they only had maybe 2 or 3 songs released at the time. So it's just really cool to see them release a full album and a damn good one at that. So some of the best ones on here are the songs I'm Alright, Just Because, and Casanova. And then they had a few older singles that made it to the album. These are the songs Out the Door and Bay Street. And Out the Door is their most popular song, so it makes sense why it made the cut on the album. And then I feel like Bay Street is just a solid song to close the album. It makes sense as the closer. I feel like their singles from 2025 called Valerie and Wraparound both could have made the album, would have made it an 11-song album, but all good. Again, just a solid debut album called Wasted While I'm Young by Congress the Band. Go check that one out now. We also had the artist DWLLRS and their new album come out called Tell You When You're Older. I did end up listening to this one more than I anticipated, probably listened to it like 3 or 4 times before everything kind of went down there, but some of my favorite songs, 2 of them were already released songs that we had mentioned on the Jammies, and this is the song One of Those Nights and Looking Back at Us Now. Those are definitely my 2 favorite on the album to this point, but I'm also liking the songs called Fed Up, Another Sad Song, and Remedy. So it is a faith-based album, but I feel like it's not like too forced. It's not in your face about it. So album definitely, it's a pretty chill listen with not a lot of big energy, more just like vibey sort of album, but it is pretty decent and I would recommend it. That is called Tell You When You're Older by DWLLRS. In episode 20.5, I mentioned that I was maybe going to talk about Nothing But Thieves again and just kind of see what else they had out there after just checking out singles and the album Dead Club City by Nothing But Thieves. What I did find was that their album in 2015, their debut album, self-titled Nothing But Thieves, had some really good stuff on it. I do recommend going back and at least listening into that one. So there'll be a couple of those songs on the Jammies playlist. I mean, I honestly liked pretty much the whole album, with favorites being the songs Itch, If I Get High, and Graveyard Whistling. So a lot of good stuff, and I do feel a little bit more excited about the album Stray Dogs, which is going to be coming out on September 25th by Nothing But Thieves. So we'll be checking that one out and hopefully reporting on Stray Dogs, the album, when it releases in late September. We have a huge list of saucy singles this month, and I'm not going to go through each and every one of them. I do have some notes to say about them, but again, I don't really have the time to edit. I'm recording a day before because of everything that's been going on. I mean, it's been a lot of cleaning. It's been a lot of pickup and just trying to get so many things sorted out. So do appreciate you guys sticking with me for this little bit different sort of episode of the Jammies, but every one of these songs I'm just going to kind of list off for the saucy singles. They will all be in the Jammies playlist. The Jammies playlist this month, it's going to have a lot of music, and hopefully you guys are digging a lot of it as well. Just feel free, obviously, like whatever songs, save whatever songs to your own playlists and whatnot. Again, hopefully some of this is rocking in the same way that it has been for me. We're going to get into the saucy singles with a brand new one from the artist Certainly So. Certainly So was one of my favorite bands found last year, and they haven't released any music actually since November of 2024. This is their first new song since that album called Probably Not that we talked a little bit on last year. This song is called Eye to Eye. Again, it's by Certainly So, and it's right back to the good stuff by them. Some whimsical strings throughout, some great build-ups from the lead vocalist, and just accentuated by the backup vocalist in a really nice way. It has an awesome peak with all the strings going off after about like the 2-minute mark. So really like this one, and hopefully more new music showing up from the very talented artist of Certainly So. We also had another single from the artist Inlet, who we talked about earlier this year. They had a new one called Willow Tree that released. Pothole Paradise is an artist that I've only been able to mention all the way back on the very first episode of the Jammies. They released an awesome new song called Between Two Worlds. Do want to give them some credit for an awesome new release. That is Between Two Worlds by Pothole Paradise. We also have a new one from Brookside, which is an artist that I talked about earlier this year as well. This song is called Oxygen by Brookside. we deep dove into their music in January, and I actually said that I didn't think that they were making any music anymore because they didn't have any releases. It did sound like they weren't going to be coming out with any new music after their latest single was in 2023, and their lead singer, Bennett Woolsey, had kind of started their own solo career, but I was mistaken and happily wrong on this one, because Brookside is actually their second song that they've released this year, and this Oxygen one is really good stuff, bringing back some sweet guitar and good vocals. And speaking of that, Bennett Woolsey recently released 2 new singles. The one that I've been able to listen to, the latest one has come out since everything has happened for me, but the one that I have been enjoying, and that'll be on the Jammies playlist, is called Cigarettes and Alcohol. So that's a brand new one from the lead singer of Brookside with their solo career here by Bennett Woolsey. We also have a few new ones by Winya. That is Winyah. Their latest single that I've been really enjoying is called Spinning. We also talked about their song called Rat Race earlier in the year, and they actually have a new album coming up that we'll be mentioning in future episodes, I'm sure. Go pre-save the album if you are enjoying Winya, and again, the song Spinning is a really good one by them after we've already been enjoying the song Rat Race. So good stuff, already known to be on their newest album coming up. Up next on the Saucy Singles, we have the song From a Different Age by Bo Stallo. This is the first song that has been released by Bo Stallo since March 2025, and it's definitely a little bit of a slower build-up type of song, but that's what Bo Stallo is great for. He always hits you with that amazing voice, and the build-ups always work for me there, so a good one from Bo Stallo in the song From a Different Age. We also have a song called Yours Forever. This is by Bishop Briggs featuring Matt Mason. I had never heard of Bishop Briggs before. They actually have 4.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify, while Matt Mason, the artist that I do know and love, has about 3.9 million monthly listeners currently. So some pretty solid sized artists collaborating on this one. And this Yours Forever song, it's great, and just a lovely duet between the two of them, with just the classic, powerful, and beautiful voice of Matt Mason coming in over the top of some awesome acoustic guitar at around the minute 23 mark. So do go check that one out, again, in the Jammies playlist, just like all these Saucy Singles. And next up, we're going to be talking about Seasons Change by the band The Bends. The Bends we actually also mentioned alongside Congress the Band on episode 5. They were another artist that just had a couple songs out. They've been releasing quite a bit of music over the past year and a half now, and this Seasons Change song by The Bends is another good one from them. We're going to have 2 songs by the artist Autumn Drive. Autumn Drive we've actually never talked about on the Jammies, but they're a recent find this year, and the recent songs that they released are some of my favorites by them. They have the song Walk Away and the song Times Before. Again, both those by Autumn Drive, and both are really chill, good stuff all the way through, and will be included on the Jammies playlist. Another song that I do like by Autumn Drive, if you wanted to stumble a little bit further into their music, is a song called Million Pieces. We have a new one by that rap group called What More. This is the song called On Site, and it's a good one from them. We also have a new single from Porchlight. This is called Arctic. This is the first new song of 2026, and they're one that is sincerely phenomenal. Their lead vocalist is amazing, and I just feel like they're going to be on the top of the charts someday. So Arctic by Porchlight, a new one out there from them. We also have a new single from Fudge, who we mentioned not too long ago here on the Jammies. This is called What About Me, and it just continues what Fudge is great for, with just more incredible rock music. So back-to-back songs that I'm really loving by them, with the song Hanging On that we mentioned when we did bring up Fudge for the first time, and now this single called What About Me. They both have like these orange and white themed album covers, so I'm not sure if this is leading into something else, something more from Fudge, but we will be keeping an eye on that and reporting on it if anything else comes through with that. And speaking of like reading into the tea leaves on these different album covers and whatnot, I did notice, and I maybe even mentioned, I noticed the Old Mervs on their 2 most recent singles, both out in 2026, had kind of this similar pattern on the album artwork. And I was wondering if it was going to be leading into a larger project, maybe more than just a few singles. They did do something similar with their debut album last year, with this red car sort of showing up in a lot of different photos. All in all, there's some big news here. Not only we have a great new single by Old Mervs called She Said, but this is actually leading into a future album by Old Mervs. This is going to be mentioned in the upcoming section, but man, more Old Mervs to speak of on the Jammies. So there's no problem with that here, and looking forward to speaking even more on Old Mervs real soon here. So those are the saucy singles. Again, every single one will be in the Jammies playlist. Let's wrap this up quick with some upcoming albums and EPs. On July 24th, the Braymores released their second ever album. This is called When the Lights Went Out. I have not had a chance to listen to that one yet, but moving into the next is the new album from Evening Elephants that is releasing the day that this episode 21 of the Jammies releases. This is the one that we've been talking about. It's called Wholeheartedly, Terribly Sweet by Evening Elephants. So hopefully we got some good vibes coming out of that and some pick-me-up spirit from Evening Elephants because they're always doing some good stuff with their music. Looking forward to that one. I'm hoping that music kind of resurfaces in my life here, and it's I'm hopeful that this album is one of the reasons that I want to jump back into music after a lot of stuff going on here for me in my personal life. But next up in the upcoming albums and EPs, we have the album Stardust by the recently spoken of artist called The Backfires. So Stardust by The Backfires is out on August 7th. This is their second ever album. We talked a lot about their first ever album called This Is Not an Exit. That was just in the last episode, I believe. So do go check that one out if you're enjoying The Backfires music when you hear it in the Jammies playlist. They have quite a few singles out that are going to be on this album, and I actually got to get a little sneak peek of this album from The Backfires. We've been talking a little bit on Instagram, and while some of our communication has been stalled a little bit, I was like, oh shoot, I was supposed to actually have an artist showcase in this episode. Well, now it's been a couple of days, and lining that up, we'll see if we are capping this episode with an artist showcase from The Backfires. I was like, again, this is Thursday, July 30th. I'm recording right now, and I just messaged them this afternoon. Hey, man, I'm going through some stuff with this here tornado, but if you still wanted to showcase your music, I would love to have it on here. So we'll see. At the point of recording this right now, I do not know if we'll have The Backfires music on the episode. I like to just confirm with artists before I show their music that I am guaranteed ready to go with that. And while we did speak that it was going to be okay beforehand, I just want to confirm. So we'll see. Maybe we'll be capping this episode with some awesome song off of the new album Stardust by The Backfires. If you're looking to hear the entire album, it's going to be out on August 7th. So go give that one a listen when it drops. We also have a new album by Alabama Shakes. This is called I Must Be Dreaming. This is releasing on August 28th. Surprisingly, only their third album. They had the album Boys and Girls in 2012. They had the album Sound and Color in 2015, and they released 2 deluxe versions of those albums. But I was kind of surprised seeing that they're releasing a new album. Alabama Shakes is a band that we have not talked about necessarily on the Jammies, but one that I'll at least give a shot because they were always one of my favorites there, and they make some incredible music with just amazing lead singer there. I Must Be Dreaming by Alabama Shakes. Maybe we'll be talking about that one a little bit more in the future. Again, that is releasing on August 28th. We also mentioned in previous episodes, but Movements, one of my favorite alt-rock bands, is releasing a new album on September 4th called Happier Now. Another good single was released on July 10th called Separate. Just all the singles so far for this album have been really solid, so absolutely excited about this one, again, called Happier Now by Movements. We also have the new album from Almost Monday coming out on September 9th. That is called Thank God It's Almost Monday. And as mentioned previously, we have the new album, their second ever album by Old Mervs. This is going to be called Car Parks, and it is releasing on October 2nd. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about the lead up to these different albums and whatnot. And then when they drop, we'll have big segments, I'm sure, talking about all different albums from Evening Elephants, The Backfires, Movements, Almost Monday, Old Mervs. I'm very, very excited about all those ones. Can't wait for new music from some of my favorites. And then a couple other ones that I'm definitely going to give shots to listen through when I have the time there. So that is episode 21. I know a little bit different than the usual, but wanted to at least make sure to get something out there to you guys. I don't have power at the house. I don't have Wi-Fi at the house. I don't have anything there. Every single telephone pole is ripped out of the ground. I got no more trees left in my yard, and that is not unique to me. I mean, all of my town that I live in here, we got hit pretty hard by a tornado again on July 27th, Monday at noon. It was pretty wild. Definitely something that me and my wife would not recommend being a part of there, but we're doing okay. Everybody's safe. Miraculously, there has been 0 deaths reported so far, so we're just very thankful on that. I mean, just how it all happened, how it all went down. It was within just a few minutes that if we didn't get to the basement, I mean, the tornado hit us within 2 minutes of our phones going off and the sirens going off with the tornado warning. No real heads up before then, so we luckily got ourselves and our dog and cat into the basement, and again, we're all safe. And it sounds like while a lot of people in my town are going through a lot, at least everybody is safe there. So we're feeling very blessed. I mean, I'm sitting with a roof over my head, albeit there are a lot of holes in my roof. There is a lot of damage to the house and to our vehicles at the very least. I mean, I'm still sitting in my house right now. No AC. It's a warm one. No AC, but we're sitting in a room in a house that we still at least have a roof over our heads there. So very thankful, and just hope everybody's doing okay. If anybody's from the area that I'm speaking of, I hope everybody's doing okay with the recovery, and hopefully we can all get back on our feet here sooner rather than later. Just going to wrap up with a little bit of housekeeping, just some quick housekeeping. I've been mentioning the Jammies playlist. Do click in the description. That's going to be the best way to find all the music that was mentioned. That is a Spotify-specific playlist. The link will bring you right to Spotify, and you can listen through any of the songs mentioned. They'll all be shuffled up into there. So the other thing that I do ask, if you don't mind just following the show, click that follow button. You'll be notified when new episodes come out. I'm planning on having episode 21.5, the midway episode, on the mid-Friday of next month in August, but we shall see. I'm hoping to keep on track. I mean, the fact that 4 days after we were hit by a tornado, I'll have an episode out of the Jammies is at least something, right? So we'll try to stick with the path. Otherwise, episode 22 will be on the last Friday of August. But if you don't want to miss anything, just click that follow button. Make sure your notifications are turned on so you're actually notified when a new episode drops. Before all this happened, I actually was able to record the first episode of the Alphabet Superset for A, and that is the album Aha Shake Heartbreak. I got the file saved on my computer. Still need to edit it down, but maybe we'll have that in the future as well. But just shot even further down the priority list with everything going on. But hopefully I'll have the Alphabet Superset and the first episode coming out to you pretty soon here, or eventually here, I should say. If you have any recommendations for the show, if you have been enjoying the recommendations, and if you have any music of your own that you wanted to showcase on the show, reach out to me at my email address. It's thejamieshow@gmail.com. That is right in the description. So click on that, send me over an email. We can converse, get your music showcased on the Jammies. Just like the backfires might be again. We'll see. It's always weird when I'm at this point of recording, but not really knowing. But that is all for the episode 21 of the Jammies, and just appreciate anybody listening in. I mean, again, this is a lot shorter than it probably would have been. I'm guessing this will be maybe more along the lines of a 20-minute episode, where recently they've been like 50 minutes plus. So I appreciate anybody listening into the Jammies and for supporting the show. Hopefully we'll be back on a normal stretch of music listening and Jamie's recording here coming up soon in August and throughout August and the rest of the year. Let's have no more big dramatic things going on in my life. That'd be pretty ideal. But we will talk to everybody real soon. I hope everybody's doing well, staying happy, healthy, and safe. Thanks everybody so much for listening. Thanks to the Backfires for wanting to collaborate with me on the Jammies here. And that is episode 21. We'll catch you guys for hopefully episode 21.5 coming out midway of August on a Friday in August. But until then, have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your week, and keep on jamming.